Sometimes you forget all you all you do. I just want to give a brief thanks to my husband Michael for being here, taking time out. Our deputy, and recognize my deputy mayor Leon Davidoff. Our other counselors that are here, Dallas Dodge, Beth Kerrigan. I don't know where they are sitting. Oh, hi guys. Our town clerk, Essie LeBreau, the best town clerk in the state of Connecticut. Our Director of Human and Leisure Services, I think, is here. Yeah, there she is. Director of Community Services, Mark McGovern, and Kristen Gorski, who also works with Mark. West Hartford Fire Chief, Gary Allen. Yes, he's here. Our Police Chief, Tracy Gove, is here. There he is. They're spread out all over. And our probate judge, Owen Egan. I don't know if you've met Owen yet, but he's a new probate judge. We also have, I hear the president of University of St. Joseph is here, Rona Bree, a fellow Rotarian too. And Charles Mallory and Dixon Mallory from the Delamar are here. We welcome you as new members of our community. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the process of the puzzle. Some of them are pretty funny, and maybe not so clean, I don't know. But we're going to put them all together, and when that town manager, we welcome him or her or into the town, they'll have a lot to read, so that'll be kind of fun. I just want to say, seriously, this is the largest audience to ever witness the State of the Town speech, period. Besides saying that I'm 5'10", I'm done with alternative facts, okay? Okay, now for the serious business. The state of the town of West Hartford, as you just heard from Mike, is really strong. We are in really good shape, and it is because of fabulous leadership, and I am speaking on behalf of my fellow elected officials with very invested partners as elected leaders. Several months ago, as you heard, West Hartford was named by Money Magazine as the top 15th best municipality for populations between 50,000 and 300,000, and the chosen pool. I'm not used to being this tall. Sorry. I'll have to adjust a little bit. Out of 300 to 300,000, 16,000 cities actually fit that category in the United States, and of the 823 that were picked, that we were chosen from, being 100 would have been really remarkable. We were picked 15th. So they gave an extra shout out to the Playhouse on Park, who does so much community building. And this is just one of our most recent accolades. We have many, and we're so proud of them. But the reason we receive these accolades and all these recognitions is because we are vibrant, diverse, and safe with top-notch schools. We have really quality municipal services, highly engaged citizens, many social cultural events, and it all makes our community richer. West Hartford, as we say, has an innovation factor: smart people, great ideas, and collaboration. The three pillars are safety, schools, and stability, mostly financial stability, but stability in many ways. But this is what the keys to being successful. I think West Hartford has the best police force and fire departments in the state of Connecticut. And I would say probably in the country too. We are able to recruit outstanding candidates with strong leadership. Our police chief is a national leader in fair and impartial policing and has been a leader on implicit bias training in the state and actually the country for over a decade. It was very forward thinking. We have seen a fairly steady decline in total crime over the last 2 decades. At times there's blips, and when there are, we are right on it. Our police chief responds, and we put all hands on deck. We now have a fire department that actually provides our paramedic service 24/7. We have 5 paramedics on duty all the time. Previous to that, we had 2 paramedics during the day and 1.5 at night. And they're all spread throughout the town. So the service is much better, but we're doing it actually at a significant decrease in cost. So that's a terrific service to our community. One of the best things that I have as mayor is the opportunity to hear from citizens that have been serviced by our police and fire in very serious times of needs. Their compassion and their professionalism is matched by no other. And those are really, I wish I could share them with you, but they're really, really moving letters that I receive. Our schools are increasingly diverse on many levels, from economic diversity, racial diversity, religious diversity, and we are so proud of that, and we've been able to meet students' needs across the spectrum. A learning style diversity too. We have a lot of special needs students. We have a brand new school, state-of-the-art school. If you haven't seen it, Charter Oak, it's a round school actually, and it has a geothermal heating. It's it will be gold LEED certified soon, I've been told. 80% of that funding actually came from the state of Connecticut and 20% from the town. So we're really grateful to Senator Bai and Representative Fleischman for helping with that. U.S. News and World Report ranked both Conard and Hall as top 10 public high schools in Connecticut and the gold medal distinction ranking in the top 500 of schools nationwide. We're one of only a few municipalities that have 2 high schools and ranked in that highly. Also, Newsweek's America's Best High Schools were the top 2 of the top 3 Connecticut high schools, which is pretty amazing as well. And we were on the Washington Post top challenging high schools in the nation list. So those are remarkable things that our schools accomplish, and it takes a lot of effort and work. Our superintendent is amazing, as well as our staff. We are financially sound and stable. AAA bond rating by Moody's and Standard & Poor's for more than 40 years. A very small percentage of municipalities throughout the country meet that standard or hold that designation. And just yesterday, we received our S&P bond, both Moody's and S&P bond rating again prior to our bond issue. And S&P, I have not read Moody's. I actually got it on my phone as I was sitting here. But I haven't read Moody's. Standard & Poor's report actually said, we revised our view of the town's management to very strong from strong. A financial assessment of very strong indicates that financial practices are strong, well embedded, and likely sustainable. I want to thank our CFO, Peter Privatera, for his leadership, and our town manager, Ron Van Winkle, for achieving that. 89% of our taxes come from residential property tax. That's pretty substantial. Our current collection rate is over 99%, and our median family home sales are at the same level they were pre-recession. They're about at the levels they were 2006-07. On an I'm going to get in the weeds a little bit in a couple sections of this, but on an equalized grand list, which I don't know, we revalue property, we go through revaluation. The state has a mechanism of evening that out where you are in a revaluation. On an equalized grand list, comparing all towns in Connecticut, we're ranked 32nd on mill rates throughout the state of Connecticut, behind Bloomfield, Manchester, Vernon, Meriden, Durham, and just slightly ahead of Glastonbury, Simsbury, and Newington, which it was a little surprising to me. The lower mill rates are actually all the Gold Coast communities. Greenwich has the lowest of all because their property values are so high. We have a growing tax base. We continue to attract development all over town. Businesses want to be here and people want to be here. We don't offer tax abatements or incentives. We just have the right environment. And I would say that is very professional staff, wonderful chamber support, engaged and supportive of elected officials. And the unique position where we get to choose the kind of development that we want, that's remarkable in this environment. I was told that you have to go to Mark's development talk, so I can't reveal everything, but I will reveal some. We have Dalamar opening in late spring. Chick-fil-A is open and hiring right now. We just approved the Sears redevelopment. Sears retail company is called Seritage, and they're developing Sears stores, redeveloping Sears stores for unique properties around the country. This is a big development that we just approved. They're anchors. Our REI from Blueback is moving into that space. Their lease was up, and they wanted a space that was a little bit more, I think, better hours and better, I think. Shake Shack is opening, and Saks off 5th is another anchor store. And of course, we have restaurants and more restaurants and more restaurants. So, and more workout places to match the restaurants. Residential actually completed in 2016. Bishop's Place on Albany Avenue is fully leased. With residents on Steel Road, 100 of the 160 are completed and leasing very, very well. They actually are finding strength in their bigger units for maybe empty nesters that may have children coming and visiting them. Chatfield Assisted Living, 84 units. The Landmark in West Hartford Center, 21 units. And Kingswood Place, 13 units. Under construction, and this is a very exciting project, and I think the beginning of a lot that you'll see. 616 New Park Avenue is our transit-oriented development. Oh, sorry. 12, I have a couple mics, so maybe that's the problem. 12 units for veterans, 54 total units for workforce and market rate. We also have some smaller developments throughout town, North Main Street, East Maxwell, and Arlington. Sorry about that. Arcadia, which was the Sisters of St. Joseph, a project has been approved. We are told that they may be back for some modification. It's a very, very big project. And opportunities for growth include Yukon, the New Park Transit-Oriented Development Corridor, and West Hartford Center. We also had building permit growth, redevelopment. We have building permits, 5,600. It went up from 5,600 in the last 2 years to 6,223 this year, and we've seen steady growth over the last decade of an increase of 3,700 in building permits. So that's a real indicator. We have businesses opening all over town. Last night was our latest with the Crown reopening and investment from the community. And I think 3 of the 4 were chamber members, which is great. And I think we have such great coverage with Abigail, Michaela from the Current, and Ronnie Newton from WeHa. The Business Buzz is always a place where you all get updated on everything that's going on. Our unemployment rate in West Hartford is at 4%. It's unchanged unchanged from last year. And we also have our highest fund balance. That's all reflected in our rating. I'm going to get a little bit technical, and then I'm sort of going to go into where I think West Hartford is going. Tax increases are largely driven, I think you've heard a lot, by MDC, pension, healthcare, and negotiated salary adjustments. The mill rate now is becoming a very complicated thing to carve out. We have changes at the state level for adjusting car rate tax to have it be the same car tax throughout the state of Connecticut. So if you're in Hartford, it doesn't cost you $7 a mil for a car, where in Greenwich it can cost you 9 mils. So that's a problem. So the legislature tried to fix that, but it shifts the tax burden from cars to real estate. So it's a very funky thing. We also we've made significant changes in overtime especially in our public safety. We've renegotiated all of our contracts, pensions. Everybody's on a DC or a defined contribution plan, or a hybrid with a small with largely defined contribution. All of our employees are on health savings accounts. So we really have done a lot of hard work that you'll read about, that the state is starting to do and Hartford is just starting to do. We've done a lot of that. Our normal costs for pensions, this is again in the weeds, are going down. That means the cost of a current employee, of what it will cost the town going forward when they retire, those costs are all going down. We also are in a revaluation year right now. We're going to have to talk about that a little bit more. So values of properties shift. There may be properties, bigger homes that are not quite as common and popular. Families are not as big as they used to be. We don't have as many corporate leaders that are in the area. They can be in other locations. So those homes are staying on the market a little bit longer. And there's a shift. So that shift for that increase may not be as great as areas that are probably around some of our centers in town. Those are very popular for people to live in. We also have combined every town and education position. We rank, actually, this is also surprising, 126 out of 169 in per pupil spending. So our administrative costs are very, very minimal. Costs that we spend go to teachers and go to the classroom. So we're very proud of that. And I know you've heard a lot about the education cost sharing. That is the way the state helps to fund education throughout the state of Connecticut. We are funded at the third least level, the third worst funded in the state of Connecticut, and we're funded a little over 50%. So if we had gotten our funding according to the formula, we wouldn't have had tax increases for the last 10 years. And that's an important thing that we, it's frustrating, but we don't think that that's probably going to change. So we have to live within our means and our reality. We are in the people business. We provide safety, education, and extensive services to our community, but of course we always balance this with cost. So we try to do everything in the most efficient and effective way we possibly can. So we work closely with our IT department to make sure that our town staff does the best it can with these limited resources. We own town fiber to all of our public buildings. We were paying almost $300,000 a year in lease money for fiber. We don't do that anymore. We have more online omit parking, that overnight parking app. We are increasing the amount of things that we put on for residents that don't have to come into town hall. We have YourGov potholes and streetlights that you can report online. We have an updated GIS system especially for our public works that can see where trucks have been, where they're going, so people aren't bumping into each other. And we have automated truck maintenance where something comes up and that is what needs to get fixed. All these kinds of things are helpful. We have increased training capabilities for our police, all within this a way to efficiently provide service to our customer, the residents and people that are in the town, but also to our staff. We're going to self-check kiosks in the library. But we also really care about the people touch and making lives better for our people. We have a really incredible foundation, the Town That Cares, that funds needy families throughout our community. We hosted a party for over 400 children at Christmas time. We provide backpacks, so every student is coming in with a backpack fully equipped to start day one of school. We're actually looking at revamping some of our aging park structures, so we're in an inventory of what we have and where we should be in the future, so we're going through that as well. And we've talked to parks like Friends of Fern. I don't know if any of you are members or know about it. It's a foundation that started to benefit a neighborhood park, and to have people invested in that in their own neighborhood park is really helpful, and hopefully will help to fund some of the things that maybe neighbors want that the town cannot provide. We also are providing senior social work service, or will be, at our senior centers, because we have an aging population that needs some support and can't get into town hall. And those are things that are really important. So I would say that we truly are a town that cares. And I believe that we work really hard to do that within our means. Our whole budget is approximately $270 million. Yeah, that'd be great. And our percentage is, so each percentage of our mill rate is $2.7 million. That is the amount of our whole human and leisure services budget. So I just want to give you a context of what that means. It's not an easy thing to cut, $50,000, although we look at every dollar, and have a change on our tax bills. And I just, again, want to go through a couple challenges that we're facing. I think you all have read about some of the impact on the MDC, what's happened in the Metropolitan District Commission with Hartford's notice that it may not be able to pay its bills for the second half of the year. We were required to put aside $1.7, almost $1.8 million in a contingency tax, basically, in the case that Hartford did not pay. We've been told we will get that back, but the question is, will Hartford have that problem? I think the priority to pay MDC is very high on Hartford's list. Legally, it is very high. And so we're working with MDC to make sure that we're not being penalized for being a member town. So we also, the state is facing a $1.5 billion challenge. a shortfall. They are talking about cutting ECS or changing the formula, not funding distressed cities or urban centers at a much higher rate than other communities. We're sort of a hybrid. We're very unique. There's not a lot of communities for us to compare ourselves with. We don't know what that means. So going into a budget season when we really don't know is going to be very difficult. They're talking about special ed. They're talking about pulling special ed back into the state, but then sort of divvying it back out. I don't know. That hasn't worked for us in the past. We'll see how that goes. They're also talking about teacher pensions and how that liability is increasing at a very substantial rate. The state pays for our pensions on all of our teachers. And what does that mean? They actually are talking about maybe having that liability go back to the town, and that could be a really significant challenge for us. So those are sort of the outline of the things that are really, really challenging. CCM, that's Connecticut Conferences of Municipalities, just came out with a study. It was Securing the Future, Service Sharing and Revenue Diversification for Connecticut Municipalities. It was prepared actually by the Romney Institute at BYU and the Dean of the Marriott School of Business, so there was some credible economic thought process into that, as well as some Connecticut thought leaders. There were 21 municipal leaders that participated in this budget. It's a really long report, but I'm going to hit some highlights. The state economy has grown by 17% between 2006 and 2015. During the same period, state expenditures grew 49%. Local governments in Connecticut are not large compared to other states and rank 41st in the country as compared to percentage of private employment. So, we're providing services with smaller staff. Excluding K through 12 education, local general government expenditures in Connecticut rank 50th in all states. If you add back education, we rank smack in the middle, 25th, yet our schools are ranked very, very high. So what can you do when you're in this kind of situation? So what CCM is recommending, that Connecticut has a very limited tax structure. We do income tax for the state level, and we do basically property tax at the local level. And they're saying it's time to diversify. Other states have gone to counties. I'm not sure that's right for Connecticut. Connecticut is the size of LA County. So there you go. But maybe it's time for tolls on the road, potentially. And when 30% of people that use Connecticut roads are residents, 40% I think are, I thought I heard 40% are non-residents and 30% are trucks that are going through interstate commerce. So that's something that I think our legislators, it's time to think about. It's over $1 billion in revenue from that. They talk about sales tax. Sales tax, all of our sales tax, actually, if you talk to the town clerk, it's amazing. To get a dog license, we don't keep the money. West Hartford does not keep the money for dog licenses. It goes to the state. So it's pretty remarkable that we really have no diversity at all in revenue. Sales tax, we're at 6.35% in sales tax. Our neighbors are around 7, a little over 7 in New York, just under in Massachusetts. So one of CCM's suggestions is to cut the sales tax to in the 5% range, eliminate some of the exemptions to pick up some of that revenue, let the municipalities benefit from a % of sales tax that would go to offset, hopefully, property tax. And maybe some of the support that the state provides to the towns. And they're also talking about a hotel and food tax as well, allowing municipalities to do that if voters want it. But we didn't have the ability to even do that, so we don't have the ability to do that. So even talking about it is probably helpful. They're also talking about property taxes. Hartford has 53% of its property is non-taxable. It is they are state buildings that benefit the whole state. They're nonprofits, churches. There are services that are provided to nonprofits. So the question is, could they pay a smaller, maybe 20% of the mill rate into the property, the tax structure, and help to support the services that they receive. So that discussion is being held as well. And there's also talk about fees for public rights of way, that utilities in other states pay a decent amount of money to be on public rights of way, and they don't in the state of Connecticut. So that's where we are. West Hartford's in great shape. We have some significant challenges, but we think there are ways out. Between the tolls and between sales tax, that state budget and offsetting the state's decline potentially in municipal aid, that can solve the problem. So I don't think we should panic. I think there's a very thoughtful way. It may take a little courage from the state legislature, and I hope that we can come together and fix this issue. But we definitely have to look at the way we spend money, and every dollar is important. Now, West Hartford 2030 is sort of my refrain. Where are we going? We really need to be a leader in the state of Connecticut and the country. As you heard, I think we are. Actually, demographically, we are the state of Connecticut. West Hartford has the same demographics as the state of Connecticut, and the state of Connecticut's demographics actually are very close to the country's demographics, which is pretty remarkable. I was reading for fun, I was reading a Goldman Sachs macroeconomics outlook. They recently came out with their 2017 macroeconomic outlook. And they're talking about economic growth around the world, actually. Millennials, and I did not know this, millennials are the biggest generation in U.S. history. So they're larger than baby boom. I thought we rocked it, but I guess we have kids and they're taking over. So Gen X so there are 92 million millennials right now in the United States, 61 million Gen X, and 77 million baby boom. So, but the millennials are reaching that age, they're starting to get jobs. So they are born between 1980 and 2000. So they're many of them are out of college or getting towards the end of college. They are starting to enter the workforce. They're making life decisions. They used to, in 1970s, people got married at 23 years old. Now the average age is about 31 years old. So they're making, some of those decisions. They have been subject to incredibly rapid change. Every time that something was sort of a norm, it started to change how people did it, and they're used to that. They're used to reacting. Maybe also reflective in a little attention span difference too. I noticed with my own children. Globalization and economic disruption is the norm for them. This is all they know. So we really need to. This is a huge market, and this is our future. So housing, and I also can vouch for this, they have higher student debt than anybody previously has ever had. A lot of them have grown up during a recession. Some of them came out during the recession. They have instability in the job market. They oftentimes have moved back home for several years before they get back on their feet. And we had that happen as well. They're okay with that, though. They're renters, and they want to be near action. They love, as isolationary as they are in their technological world, they thrive on interaction and vibrancy. So there are about a third millennials live in cities, and 2/3 are asked if they could live anywhere. They would live in an inner ring suburb. So that's pretty remarkable, because they want quality of life, but they want diversity, they want vibrancy, and they want safety. So we feel they're also into a sharing economy. They do not, a lot of them don't want to have cars, and if they do have cars, they just as soon share a car. They also share music. They don't own music. I had my record crates, of owning music. They borrow music. Any luxury goods, they also are not as forward to necessarily jumping in. They're cautious and careful. They really do have, I think, again, because they don't have that much income yet. That's part of the reason for some of these things. But their attitudes are different about sharing economies. They really feel that they go into a store, they look, they check prices, they can do a check on, I think I read 57% of them will check prices online before they buy something. when something is online and gets good reviews, they're more apt to buy it than if they see an advertisement in a magazine or in a newspaper. So they rely very much on online communication. They do exercise more than previous generations, and they also eat healthier, but they love to eat out and have that entertainment component to their experience. And that's sort of that bonding social experience. So millennials want, according to the Ketchum Global Research and Analytics team, they actually did a pilot with builders, and they said that they built areas outside of cities that were sort of Blueback Square-esque, you know, mixed use, where they could work and play and live all within a small area. It doesn't have to be a fancy apartment for them. It can be fairly basic, but it has to have certain things. And one of them is high-speed broadband. They're coming, no, seriously, they are coming from college campuses where they have gig service, and they don't want to pay the price of Comcast and Frontier necessarily packaged as it stands now. I don't know if there are Comcast and Frontier people here, but they pick and choose what they want. So, you know, if they want to get you know, Netflix and Amazon and watch and stream movies, they pick and choose, and they spend a fraction of what we pay for packages. So that's a really important element as we go forward and develop and figure out what is best with our economy. I've been very involved. We actually, as a town, applied to be a Google town in 2009, I think it was, and I've been sort of on this fiber to home push to bring fiber, high-speed fiber to West Hartford. So that this is an attraction for people, and they have the ability to work out of their home. You know, we have people that are at certain companies that do work from home. At certain times of the day, your service goes down because you don't have a dedicated line to your home. And we want to make sure that we provide that quality. So if people are looking at various phases in their life, that they have it. I actually ride a Peloton bike. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's you get an up and down feed. You can compete with people around the country. I can compete with my brother in California in a class, and that is the way. But if I'm riding the bike, my kids can't download an Amazon movie. So there's something, you know, that we have to have that capability. So that's something that we're going to do. We are in a technological economy, right? Technology economy. Population growths have changed. Again, millennials are getting married later. Maybe they are having less children, although it's, you know, just sort of starting. We are seeing the market trends of what they're doing, living trends and consumer attitudes. So we need to figure all of this out. We are starting to develop our own plan of conservation and development for the next 10 years. Our town planner, Todd Dumais, works with Mark McGovern, with our town staff to develop our path on what is best for our town as a whole, what is sustainable, environmentally responsible, what are the trends, market trends. So this will be a guide for us, and all of these things will be factored into that. We have, and as I just explained to you, we have a lot of interest from developers in developing properties around our centers. Bishop's Corner, West Hartford Center, Park Road, New Britain Avenue, all of our centers. And we're seeing that throughout the state of Connecticut. This is new. Connecticut didn't have a lot of rental properties prior to, you know, in the last 5 years, things have changed pretty dramatically. Bloomfield, Windsor, Glastonbury, Avon, Simsbury, and of course Hartford are all building substantial numbers of rental apartments. I just wanted to say Blueback Square has been undergoing some change. You heard that REI is moving to Corbin's Collective, I think. And it's owned by Starwood Properties, which is a large international developer and player. They have great relationships with lots of businesses. And one of the things that they are seeing is this entertainment experience that young people want. And some of that, you know, you can feel it a little bit when you walk into Bar Louie, or, you know, there are a lot of sports TVs on, or karaoke, or game nights, things like that kids young people really love. And we're working as a council on how do we allow our town to have some of that flexibility, because we're pretty zoned, pretty tight, and this has been a good thing for West Hartford. But how do we not miss out on opportunities that will keep us attractive without changing the character of our community and the safety of our community? So we're struggling with that a little bit, but you'll be hearing more about that. We also have some pop-up kind of ideas that are happening, and one of them is the pop-up dog park. For some reason, we had a difficult time finding a permanent location for a dog park, and I think a lot of people feel that doesn't benefit their particular area. So we've been doing these pop-up dog parks that actually have been phenomenal. 50 to 75 dogs, people bonding, people that had never met before. They have been great. So that's something that I think helps to build communities while we look for a permanent home we continue to look for a permanent home for a dog park. When I travel, my husband always laughs at me because I'm always like, oh my gosh, wow, we don't do that, or do we? And I was running in Orlando, and I saw that they were grading the sidewalk, like there was no lip on the sidewalks. And they looked like they were just ground. So I take pictures, he's running ahead, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm sending them to John Phillips, our Director of Public Works. Do we do this? And he goes, yeah, we just started, and we're just getting going on it. We'll do it. So that's, something. We were in Kansas City at a wedding, actually. My nephew's in the Air Force, and we went to this town, and I was like, oh, kind of it's in the middle of nowhere. It's this half-hour suburb of Kansas City, or 20 minutes away. And I was like, I look it online, it was ranked top 10 in the country. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what do they have that's going on that is special? So I end up talking, and we went to a barbecue festival, and I ended up talking to the Public Works Director about what they have going on, and he was talking about the fact that they have some things that really bond people together. There were a lot of young people there. They actually were the first. Kansas City was the first Google town. So they have a lot of Google people there, millennials. And they had sand volleyball courts that they were playing at till 10 o'clock at night or something. There were big groups of young people very engaged in playing, not just drinking and hanging out, but they were active and engaged and playing in their area. So things like, one of those things is we went to a barbecue brewery kind of a place. And we weren't zoned for a brewery in West Hartford. We had, actually, a friend of mine from high school wanted to open a brewery, and he actually started to work with the town, and we changed some of our zoning to allow for a brewery in the industrial zone, and that brewery actually went to Hartford, but we have a different brewery that came to West Hartford, New Park Brewery. So those kinds of things are really important, and things that we need to think about, accommodate, change the way we do business. We have an interest in food trucks. Food trucks actually marry very well with breweries, but throughout the country that we've seen. And we're talking about making some allowances for food trucks in our industrial zone, so they don't take away from the vibrant restaurant life that we have in West Hartford. So again, some of the things that we're focusing on. Sustainability is a theme when you go to any conference to talk about within the state and outside the state. Our complete streets policy that we adopted, including cycling and walkability, that is really essential. Our greenway that we're completing from Troutbrook, the north 3 miles, over 3 miles, from the north end of town to the south end of town, right to the stations on New Britain, on New Park. We're actually talking about the way we do trash, and whether we do it right away or it takes time. Connecticut is in a trash crisis, and we need to change the way we get rid of trash. Costs are going like this, so how do we manage that? We have to be ahead of it and figure out ways to help. One of the things we did that was actually the deputy mayor's idea was to have, there's a twist to this. We left big dumpsters up for after Christmas so people could put their boxes in it rather than filling up their recycle or throwing them away, to have it be a better practice that we could do it. I know some people probably emptied their basement and put boxes in there. We get that, but we prefer you don't. But it was actually on Boxing Day, December 26th, so I thought that was a little ironic. And that's a tradition we have to do. So again, I think We need to think ahead. We need to make sure that West Hartford remains a leader in the area, a draw for the greater Hartford community, and keep the quality of life that we have been so, I think, honored to have in West Hartford. You know, you're all business leaders. You know that if you stay the same, you're actually going to fall behind. You need to change. You need to start thinking, and change is hard. You can have planned change or you can have unplanned change. So my goal is to have planned change, be ahead of it, have input from the community so we can move together and educate people on our challenges and how we can meet them. And I think, as Abraham Lincoln said, I think he was thinking of it in probably a much grander scale than West Hartford. But the best way to predict the future is to create it yourself. So that's our mission and that's our goal. So that's really all I have, except that I think we will remain one of the best communities to live, work, and play in our state and in the country. So that's the end of my little chat, but I would actually I have one plug, and I was asked to make this plug right before I came up here. The Mayor's Charity Ball benefits, it's on May 13th. It's a signature event, tent right in the front of Town Hall in the green. It's beautiful, well done. It benefits the Playhouse and Park and the Town That Cares, and sponsorship opportunities are online. So if you are so interested, we would love to have you participate in that. So if you have any, do we have time for questions?
We do, but I didn't know whether you'd want to read some of our
Oh boy. All right. Okay, just a few. All right, so we really are going through this very big process of looking for a town manager. We decided to keep the search, it's an international search, but we're using internal resources to do it because there's so much online and associations, town managers that are related to associations. We feel like we can do a broad reach with minimal impact on a budget and recruitment. So we've posted, the job was posted internationally, nationally, Massachusetts, Connecticut. We've reached out to Women Town Managers Association, Diversity Town Managers Association. So we feel like we've cast a very, very broad net. It's a demanding, everything is online, so if you want to look at the survey that we did, the results will be online, the job description, all of those things are online that we have posted and communicated. We actually have a little advertising packet on West Hartford too that you might find interesting. But this is the most important thing that we're going to be doing, and this will set us on a path for the future. So I'm really hoping we have a top quality candidate, and some of your advice might be very helpful. So experience with institutions of higher education, experience integrating major new properties into beneficial uses for neighborhood and town-wide. Qualities, regional collaboration, long-term planning, challenges, aging population and population diversity, yes. Urban planning experience and regionalization. Invested in the community, they have to live in West Hartford. That is a requirement on the job. Recruit and train a diverse staff, essential for representing our own community. Forward-thinking, charismatic, experience, transparent, collaborative, and has work experience in the public. Economics and finance, someone who knows and cares about open spaces in the town that can remain places of being, and also energy efficiency. Broad shoulders, okay. All right, that's better than some suggestions, I guess. Passionate, authentic, someone from West Hartford, yes. They have to live here, whether they are from here or not, that's another story. Integrity, honesty, experience, progressive, supports local businesses, retains and circulates dollars in West Hartford. Plan for adequate resources for seniors and persons with disabilities, more child care options. Visionary leadership with community collaboration, love of culture, of our culture. This one was done by my table, bad. 4, 6 or shorter. Enjoys clothes, shopping, spinning, and hiking. Really? Okay. Clone of our town manager, Ron Van Winkle. I'm going to save that one for him. I'm going to I'm going to save that one. Integrity, transparency, fiscally sound, proven track record, trustworthy, willing to compromise, male, female. Ability to listen, humility, accessibility, experience, someone who recognizes diversity and needs in various neighborhoods, financial expertise. Those are all great suggestions, and we will look very hard to meet all of those. The 4-6 thing, I'm not sure I can do, but maybe, you never know. Okay, questions? Michael, come on. Any questions?
Well, you covered everything
I
so
guess,
thoroughly.
yeah, right. No, don't be afraid. So I just want to thank Barbara for her hard work on this, and Morgan for her hard work, and David. They are the heart, obviously, and leadership of the Chamber of Commerce, and we've seen such wonderful things happen under Barbara's tenure, and I enjoy very much participating, and she is a rock star, so thank you.
Thanks, Shari.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Stand on your platform. We're about the same now. So I would like to thank you very much. We really appreciate coming to all of our ribbon cuttings, being available to us at all times with your incredibly crazy schedule. So we just have a little something
Oh,
for
thank
you.
you.
I would also like to thank our sponsors and Simsbury Bank, our presenting sponsor, TD Bank, the Mercy Community, Thomas Fahey Insurance, who have I missed? Put your hand up and tell me. The Daily Moving, Jewish Family Services, and Jewish Family Services Care at Home. If I missed you, we love you, and we appreciate your support all the time. I just want to remind you, as Shari did a little earlier, about the Economic Development Luncheon. That will be April 27th. It will be back at Wampanoag Country Club. Mark McGovern will be giving his PowerPoint presentation that everybody can't wait to see. There's so much going on in town.
I didn't ruin it, Mark,
No,
honest.
we are so lucky and so excited to know. And, you know, Chick-fil-A is opening actually on the 9th, and I think Daryl is here somewhere. We've got Daryl sitting in the back from Chick-fil-A. There's so much going in town, we are very lucky. So we'll see you on the 27th. If you need more information, again, go to our website. And thank you all for attending.
Thank you. All right, good.
Do you like the flash?
Yes, that was key.
Now I need to, let's get TD Bank, let's get
Okay. TD Bank.
Okay. All right.